Firstly, hello and warmest regards from Warsaw. How are you?
Good, hello.
Just to get settled a little bit, what you see behind me is the Chopin Museum in Warsaw, which you know. Where are you now?
I'm in Seoul, Korea. We just did I did a live 2 days ago with We're Sovi, but this one is more serious.
Okay, so can you tell me, because I lost count, how many E minor Chopin concertos have you done already since the competition?
I have to count, maybe around 10 times, I believe.
How many more is it going to be?
I don't know anymore, probably 50.
Well, I'm glad to see you laugh when you say 50 E minor concertos, because when I say to people how often you play this concert, uh, they're amazed. What is the difference between every performance that you do?
Actually, it's quite different every time, which is quite nice. I think only the fact that we play in different halls, different orchestra, different conductors, and different piano. So all these factors made the difference, kind of natural. I don't need to do anything too much to make it different, so it's already different.
All right, so maybe let's talk about the piano at the very beginning, because I know you had this question quite often, but then when you go from one instrument to the other, how does it feel? When you were to explain to someone who's not a pianist, is it like switching cars, or how do you do that?
uh, um, it's hard to explain. I think it's part of the pianist's life. It has to be something that you try to adapt all the time. This is the pianist challenge. It's different with all the other instrumentalists. I don't know how we do, but uh, it's hard to explain. But at the same time, it's part of the fun, where the fun is.
Yeah, so what instrument did you have in Seoul?
I think a Stanway. I didn't play in the hall yet.
And well, with the audience, because that is something quite spectacular, I think. When you play in Warsaw, there is a different audience. Then you go to Israel or you go to Korea. Do you feel the emotional differences in the audience? How people react to the music?
Yeah, quite different. Quite different. Well, there's some COVID issues, in Asia, especially. I think there's like kind of more strict here, so somehow they don't let the audience actually to shout, to actually say bravo and stuff. So they're just, kind of applauding Japan, which is
All
of course a
right.
bit pity, but it is what it is.
So it is
But
a COVID quiet audience, right?
a little bit, yeah. But
No, that's
not for the concerto, it was like that. But actually, for the recital, it was not like that because the rule actually changed on my third day of quarantine in Japan, and it was quite funny that back to normal a bit.
yes. And how do you take all the traveling? Because well, we saw each other over a month ago, and I spent some time at home after the competition, which was nice. It was not your privilege to go back home, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So how do you survive the traveling? Because that's quite a hectic schedule.
Yeah, they make a very, very, very good challenge for me. I think after this one, I will be able to do anything, you know. Nothing will be harder than this one.
All right. Let's take some of the questions which we got from your wonderful followers. So I will read them
So
for you.
actually, so actually, you want to do the question they already posted, or from the live chat, or
Well, you
whatever?
can, Maestro, you can choose. I can give you some questions that have been posted
Okay,
already. You
okay.
can take the
You
live
can go
ones,
first.
whichever you prefer. So what
Okay.
what do you prefer?
We can go answer some question you have got, and I will tell them, you guys are welcome to ask anything in the chat, and I will try to pick some interesting question on
Sure.
the spontaneous answer.
Okay, the one that I like a lot is, your fingers reflexes and dexterity are so agile. How to achieve that? What's the largest span of your fingers?
Well, I have fingers like everyone, so so I can reach 11 with my left hand and 10 with my right hand. So
When you say
yeah,
11, 10, you mean keys, right?
yeah.
Well, you
So
should try an
I don't
around piano.
complain.
You can.
Probably 12 or probably 13.
Yeah, probably. And the agility, dexterity, because when you are not a pianist, people don't know what you do to keep, to make fingers move so fast. How do you do that?
I don't know. How to answer that? I think all of us are like this, no? All the pianists, we train all these hours, and I think it becomes a natural thing. That's not, to be honest, it's from normal people. I think it's very, wow thing, but actually for music, it's not the most important.
Agree. Okay, let's take another question. In situations which your logic and instincts are conflicted and say different things, which are you more inclined to follow? So the logic or the instinct?
I think during practice, it's definitely logic, and during the on stage, it would be instinct. Yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
always important to have the mix. Yeah.
And in life?
And what?
And in life? I mean, not in music, just in life.
Oh, in life,
Yes.
probably more instinct type. That depends on things.
Sure. You
They're
said
asking my
some.
blood type. I don't know why everybody's so interested in my blood type. Maybe you want my blood or something.
Well, maybe some vampires that are, picky on
Yeah,
the blood types they like.
I think so. So I'm AB. I don't know what it really means. Have to check. Sometimes if you put zodiac sign and blood type together, it's quite it's quite accurate on the personality describing the person.
Okay, we had are you a cat person or a dog person? Another question in the chat.
Probably dog person more. I like big dogs a lot. I don't hate cats, of course. I like animals in general. But if I really have to pick.
Did you have one, by the way? Do you have an animal back home?
No, because I wanted to have, but now it's gonna be harder than ever, to actually have an animal with all these travels. So maybe later when the life is more stable.
Right. Another question. I'm just taking from the live chat. So,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
have a
yeah. Because
favorite
it's
key?
funny.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite
Key?
key? Yeah.
C
In-
major because
Hmm?
it's easy to read.
The white keys, you mean, right?
Yeah.
I thought you'd say E minor because of the concerto.
Oh, no.
Okay, and another question we had, well, about the Vladimir Horowitz technique, because among your favorite pianists, you used
Mm.
the name Cortot and Benedetti Michelangeli and Samson Francois. What about Vladimir Horowitz?
Of course, it's one of my favorites. I think I try to not say these guys because they're already too famous. I'm not saying that Corto is not famous, but Horowitz and Rubinstein, everybody knows them. And yeah, because actually, his hand playing is a bit similar to me, like quite flat, I think, quite flat. Because I didn't do the very traditional training as many kids, they are holding this apple and trying to have this shape of the hands, like
Mm.
round. I just played quite randomly, at the start, and I didn't want to do it as profession and just happened like this to until now. So my hand, it's a bit quite weird, I think, posture, which is similar to Horowitz, I think.
Okay, what more questions? In general, the more general questions. So, Tea or coffee? We know dogs, that we know. Tea or coffee?
Probably tea. Anyway, both of coffee or tea, they don't have affection. They don't affect me about sleeping. So
Seriously, you can drink green tea and go to sleep?
yeah, absolutely.
Wow, very lucky. And what is your favorite swimming stroke?
Position? Maybe back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And your favorite season of the year?
Fall, maybe? Fall and spring. Because the temperature is perfect. Not too hot, not too cold.
Well, it depends where you are. But
True. Actually, spring is nice because it gives some hope, but at the same time, it's so dirty everywhere after the winter. So probably fall.
well, fall is the Chopin competition time, so I was
Yeah, yeah,
assuming
yeah.
that perhaps would be a suggestion. And when did you last go karting? Another question we
That
have.
was in Poznan,
Oh,
on
Poznan.
Halloween. On
Hmm.
Halloween, 31 October.
You won the
Yeah,
challenge, I think. Yes.
yeah, it was fun. They organized me with national team member actually of the racing,
All
which was
right.
quite something. Yeah, and I didn't do it for such a long time, so in the future, as I said before, I'm gonna ask this concert organizer to put in a contract actually to bring me to karting for every concert invitation. That would be very.
And if a city doesn't has a karting place, what you do then? Don't come.
Well, then I will, ask for very high fees.
All right. Well, good to know. I think I'm not sure we have one in Warsaw, but still hope you would come back.
Yeah, I will come back in March. That will be the next time I will be in Warsaw.
Well, exactly. It's Chopin's birthday concert,
Yeah,
which is special.
yeah, the first March.
Okay, from the general questions, we had, do you cook? What kind of food do you like?
I'm too lazy to cook, I always let my dad cook. But actually during the quarantine I learned a bit, we all learn something new during quarantine. And I started to cook some paella.
Hmm.
This Japanese not Japanese, Spanish seafood, whatever. And also some Italian pasta, whatever. Yeah, actually, because my parents cook me Chinese, so I just wanted to do something original.
Right. And when traveling, how do you practice? How do you warm up your hands? What do you do to, keep the agility of your hands?
It's a new thing I still have to learn because I think for these past few weeks, I haven't practiced seriously for the past few weeks, to be honest. It's just like a bit of rehearsing and play and concert. And it's a bit weird because I feel like this past month, I think it's the whole month I have practiced the least in my whole life.
Hmm. That is the strange effect of the Chopin competition in a way that you are touring for a month, not practicing very much. But do you miss
Yeah,
practicing now?
I do, especially for actually new repertoire.
Hmm. That's a question that we had from a few people. New repertoire. So after being so saturated with Chopin's music, where are you heading now? What music will you work on?
French music and also some jazz, actually. Just not real jazz, but like, still classical piece of jazz. I wouldn't go too
What
far, right after.
do you improvise? Can you do jazz?
No, I can't. That's my biggest dream. Well, I don't have perfect pitch. I think it doesn't help.
No, you can do jazz without perfect pitch.
Improvising? Yeah, maybe. It just needs some training, I believe.
I'm sure. Yeah. Do you like Cole Porter? It's another question. The
Like
jazz
what?
pianist, Cole Porter. Do you like Cole
I do.
Porter?
I do. But I think my all-time hero will be Keith Jarrett, and
Keith
Peterson.
Jarrett. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Art Tatum. Yes, I know.
And Bill
Uh,
Evans.
I want to learn this piece called T for Two. I think that's a nice piece
Oh,
by
that's a
Art
very,
Tatum.
very lovely piece, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, now we have girlfriend questions. Are you going into that?
I'm fine. I'm single now. I can answer anything I want.
Okay, so we've done the girlfriend part now. So is it the first time you visit Korea?
Yeah. And it's actually quite crazy because now coming to Asia as foreigner is really hard, and they did a lot of exemption job on visas.
Mm,
And my zodiac sign is Taurus.
right.
Yeah,
Then some more
the
girlfriend questions, if you like. You know, the three features of the three things in a woman that you would appreciate.
the three things.
The three things a woman should have. Well, will you marry me? Another one. I'm not sure if you can't do that so publicly, but
Um, I think. Uh,
what do you look for in a woman? Oh, that's another one.
yeah, that's a good question, right? I think I'm not trying to avoid that. It's I think honesty for sure. Very kind heart, also very important. And what else? I don't say anything about appearance because that's hard to describe, and everybody has so different taste about it. So I think, but beautiful eyes, I think that really attracts me. So if you can send me some electricity vibes.
Very good. Okay, maybe let's go back to music for a while because the question we had quite a few times
I know
was,
because everybody is actually interested to some non-music questions.
yeah, no,
We
we had
can,
some
we can.
music. Some music questions. So one that came up quite often is about the piano selection at the competition and your choice of the Fazioli as your piano in the competition. Can you say a few words about the selection process, how it all went?
Yeah, so it was so short, 15 minutes of choosing. It's impossible if I cannot. It was quite spontaneous choice, and because I listened somebody before my rehearsal, trying the piano, and I was really touched by the Fazioli sound. I was pretty much just trying between the Steinway and the Fazioli, and for me, the Fazioli is very noble, and charming sonority. And I remember I was having some hard time trying to adapt to it because I never played it in a competition before. So, for the action, it's quite hard to control sometimes. But I think throughout the whole process of competition, I really enjoy, getting used to this new.
Mm. We had a question about spirituality. Are you a spiritual person?
Spiritual. Sometimes I think, especially when playing music, actually, yeah, it helps.
And how many languages do you speak?
I speak three. So I was born in Paris and I live in Montreal, so obviously French and Chinese, of course, and actually English is the worst language I speak.
Oh, really? I would have never guessed when you speak
I mean,
English.
talking is fine. I think for probably writing, you can see the difference when you write a long, text or
Mm,
essays. You see the level of.
sure. And did your parents, that's a question I like, did your parents realize you were very gifted for music when you were a small kid?
Not at all. I started like a hobby, and they never took it really serious. And I think I started to actually show a very big interest very, very late, maybe around like 15 or 16. Before that, it was all some just kind of random, random
Wh-
learning.
When you say random, it means you didn't practice on a regular basis or
I
just
did, but it's like I was kind of, yes, that's right. And also it's like there's no like a very serious building of a project of what to learn for this year, and it was just like on the moment a bit. And from that age I started to have some ideas of every year what I want to learn and planning some competitions I want to do more seriously. Yeah.
what piano model do you have at home?
I have a Yamaha actually, a GB1, the smallest grand piano, and yeah, and it's great for practice. It's I don't mind it really much.
Mm. Now that's a tricky one, especially when you speak to the Chopin competition. Who's your favorite composer?
Um, to be honest, I don't really have one. Um, I think it depends on really the mood, you know. During the competition, of course, it was Chopin because, you know, I was so concentrated in that, and I didn't practice for other things for 2 or 3 months before the competition. And, you know, after this, I think, especially when I have played E minor for 10 times, you know, I
You need a
started
break.
to think about something else. But it doesn't mean I hate that piece. I don't hate that piece at all.
I would very much hope so. It's a great piece. And now, were your parents strict with you when you were a child, so that making sure you practice on your piano, or was it not part of your?
No, not at all. I think the only thing that actually keep me still playing piano right now is that I had so much patience when I was a kid, so I didn't have any, you know, negative memory on the instrument.
Okay, and another question from the audience now. Do you think Don Giovanni is boring? Is this a boring opera?
No, it's one of my favorite actually.
I agree.
Um, well, you know, if you know a lot of operas, of course, there's always very fun ones. Don Giovanni is more like on the seductive and dramatic side, you know, and sometimes it's not so funny, like Die Fledermaus by Strauss and stuff like that, you know. So, but you know, it's opera is like always so full of scenes. It's like a movie basically. So, uh, if you say opera is boring, then I think piano will be even more boring.
You look like Bruce Lee. That is a comment. Actually, that is a question from me because I saw one interview with you where you say that you actually enjoyed the memes comparing you to Bruce Lee during the competition in Warsaw. Was it really so?
Yeah, I think that everybody tells says that now. Um, Maybe, you know, next time I go on stage, I should learn some kung fu moves, you know, and that's gonna be my encore. So I don't need to play any encore.
Well, that's a possible way out. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I like old movies actually. Um,
And when you say old, what do you mean?
like, you know, maybe from 20 or 30 years ago, you know. Um,
Which is like 1990s, this kind of
I like
stuff?
the Pianist movie. That's a really good movie. Of course, I tried to get out of the Pianist, you know, so I also really like Forrest Gump actually. That's a fun movie.
Mm.
English Patient. Yeah, you know these. Actually, also some of Charlie Chaplin.
And do you have a favorite actor?
Not really. Maybe Charlie Chaplin, as I just said him,
Charlie
but I
Chaplin.
wouldn't. But I wouldn't say it because he's just a very unique type, you know. It's not like a standard kind of actor, but still, that's you know, legendary.
Mm. And how do you manage your stage fear? What do you do before going on stage?
I think it's to just actually prepare this mentally before. It's like when you practice, you imagine you're on a stage, so actually you are releasing this stress before, you know. So actually, when you're on stage, actually on stage, you think you're at home, so you kind of think opposite, you know. It's all about imagination.
So you can, it really works for you. So when on stage, you
It
imagine you're
does.
back home. That's amazing.
It
Mm.
does. I just see the audience sometimes like fruits, you know,
Like what? Sorry?
like
Like
fruits.
fruits. What fruit?
I don't know, just you know, all these heads, this bunch of whatever, like apples, orange, you know, or
I wouldn't have thought about that, but that sounds very very interesting. Are you going to study more with Professor Dang Tyson after after the competition now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I will continue with him for a long time. Even though he said I want to let me fly like a free bird, you know, but I think I still have a lot to learn from him. Yeah. I
And
see a lot of common people. Actually some finalists or some people from the competition.
well, that you know, what we very much wanted at this at the competition is a kind of feeling that we are all one family, and that brings you together as wonderful young artists. And we were very happy to see that, you know, most of you just like each other so much. It was really fun, you know. Will you be coming to New York sometime soon? Another
New
question.
York, I don't know. We have a US tour with the Warsaw Phil, I think, in March.
Mm.
But I don't know which city yet.
And then
Now everybody is asking about fruits.
yeah, okay, that's your story. Okay, so let's go into fruit. So what
It's
kind of fruit do
okay.
you like best?
I like a lot. I said in an interview that I always eat banana before I go on stage. And well, other than that, I think fruit is something that I miss during traveling because we eat always at restaurants, and I need some vitamins, you know.
Right. Well, another question we have is what will you use your prize money for, if that's not too inquisitive?
Well, I haven't received it yet, so you can
It
tell the
will come, don't
institute
worry.
to send me. Um, I don't know. Use it all in casino? No, that's not true. Um, I don't know. I will see. Don't have an idea yet. What color I like? I like blue.
Blue. Why
Yeah,
is it
kind of
blue?
sky blue.
All right.
It's kind of relaxing, I guess.
And well, a question from me now, before we get some more questions from the audience, because after a month, you know, the competition is a bit distant already. So what are your memories from Warsaw? Just practicing and playing, or did you have a chance to get to see the town a little bit and enjoy yourself?
I think it was a memorable month, especially because I mean, after the competition, it was better because I was able to get out a bit, you know, and to actually finally meet some friends, you know, all the, and I was amazed, you know, by the how do you say the chemistry we all have between the participants. You know, it's maybe because of COVID, but everybody is so friendly, you know, and just didn't feel like a competition in a way. And seriously, yeah, you can see from the pictures that everybody is smiling and we are having a lot of fun. You know, there's a picture of massage, a whole row of massaging us. That's
Yes,
crazy.
that's a good one, actually.
And yeah, so, but my memory from the competition was mostly that I think it was a very, very concentrating month. Like, I think I have never been so focused in the music any time before that. Yeah. I think even sometimes when I was walking on the street, you know, I was listening to music, and sometimes I forgot that where I was going, and sometimes I didn't see the cars, you know, which was dangerous. But I never had this mind that focused, so that was something probably hard to happen again.
Well, you won't have to do another competition, I think, after the Chopin
No,
competition.
thanks God. Maybe non-musical competition, but yeah,
Well,
not
okay,
piano anymore.
that's interesting, because you often say that piano is just your hobby. So, well, would you go to compete professionally?
Well, I wish, but you know, I don't think I have the courage anymore after this one.
Yeah, but no. But the question was, you know, because you say that piano is just a hobby for you. So, is there another field of life, any other activity where you
Oh,
would prefer to compete
yeah,
professionally, like
they
sports or
already
swimming?
answered in the chat.
Yeah, sure. I didn't. I missed that. So what was the answer?
Karting competition.
Oh, karting competition. Okay.
Dancing? No, I'm a bad dancer. Only few times in a club, but
Computer sciences.
no, I hate that. I mean, no, because I saw some of my high school friends also watching on this, and they know that how bad I was at math and
All
how
right.
much I cheated in these exams.
And going back to music again, because you said you want to do French music. So any thoughts about Debussy? Would he be your next composer of choice, perhaps, or any other French music?
Debussy etudes I'm doing, and Ravel, Miroir as well. All the impressionism, we're
Hmm.
getting a bit in the abstract area. But no,
Okay.
they also, I think I also saw some questions about painting, and that's also because my dad is a painter, so and impressionism is my favorite, painting
Theory.
period. Yeah, so I think naturally I also fell in love with French music in the same area.
And do you compose? Have you considered composing as well?
Not yet. I think I don't have the creativity for that. I need more. I don't know. It's too. It needs more kind of primitive kind of creativity, I think. I'm a bit too rational sometimes.
All right. So you mean instinctive in this sense, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Modern music, of course. Um, I'm playing. I'm planning to put Barber Sonata and also Ligeti pieces. Yes, in the come near future.
we had a
Rebel
question
G
about.
major.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, I already played it in the past, so I will put it in the program very soon.
Mm. And we had a question about cars. Are you into cars? And do you have a favorite car make?
Cars? Yeah, so I need this prize money, so I can,
All right, right,
you
right.
know.
And Ligeti, more contemporary music, or is it not a
Even
composer?
more, even
Yes,
more. Yeah. I mean John Cage maybe, but
especially
that
the,
will
the, the, the
be
quiet piece. I mean, the silent
that's
piece, right?
nice. That's nice because we don't need to practice. That's perfect.
I think that's a good answer. And Marta Argerich, what do you think about her?
About her, it's a really pity that she didn't come this time.
Yes,
Um,
true.
but I mean, what else can I say then? She's a really bad pianist, right?
Okay, okay. So when you say Marta Argerich is a really bad pianist, so my next question would be, what do you like humor?
Of course I like. So if there's any jokes, I'm really welcome to talk.
Hmm.
Actually,
And
if people are interested, I actually have some riddles. So let's see if they can answer that. So let's see. So example for tour Eiffel Tower in Paris. That's very famous. So what's bigger than the Eiffel Tower, but doesn't have any weight?
okay,
So 10 seconds, everyone.
we don't have an answer.
I think it's too hard. Oh, that's clever. Shadow, yes, shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Mm. Who got this? That's not so easy, actually. I missed it. I saw the answer, but I cannot get it back. Anyway, so let's keep going.
Yeah, animals. We had a question about chamber music. Is it an important part of your
Uh,
musical life?
Chamber music? Yes,
Mm.
I love chamber music. And I will definitely try to put that in a coming. Yeah, I played Tchaikovsky trio, Dvorak quintet, and also would love to do some duos.
And do you have a favorite singer? We had this question too.
Like classical ones or
Well, I don't know. Just a singer.
just a singer? Oh my God, that's hard to say. uh, I don't know, seriously. Seriously, Michael
Mm.
Jackson? No, I don't know.
Uh,
Could be.
well, but that's interesting. What kind of music do you listen to apart from classical? Are you a rock and roll
I think the
person?
most I listen is jazz.
Jazz.
And pop songs, not really, but it's so popular everywhere that you just have to hear it sometimes.
Well, yes, it is everywhere. But what kind of jazz? You said Keith Jarrett, who's a very special artist who also played, classical music in a very beautiful way, like Bach, for example. So he was going between the two worlds in a clever way, and there's a lot of classical, I think, in his jazz playing.
Hmm. I think that's maybe why his jazz is kind of special. Yeah, these two things they all have some connections you can make.
Mm. And Chet Baker, the jazz trumpeter and singer.
Who?
Chet Baker.
Ah, yeah, I know a bit. It's not my best, but
Mm. And
I don't
do you
know
play
why
any
the
other?
questions are lagging for me.
All right, don't worry, I will read them for you. So,
Okay.
and do you play any other instruments apart from the piano?
No, not really. I started on violin actually before piano, and for maybe 2 days,
All right. Why
and
did you
then I
quit the
just
violin?
and then I just give up because it's too hard. It's just too
Seriously.
hard to start with because you're just playing like, like so bad. Piano, at least you have all the notes.
And how many hours a day do you practice?
Recently, maybe 1 hour.
Like
No,
before the competition?
before the competition, maybe more, like 4 or 5 hours.
Well, can you call it a hobby when you practice for 5 hours a day?
I think so because I mean not every day, just before the competition. So normally maybe 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I would call it a hobby because, to be honest, 3 hours is really not a lot I think for what I know.
Yes.
And a lot of people actually are really crazy about hobbies.
And do you have a favorite English author? I think a favorite English writer.
English, oh, because I read more French books. Mm,
Okay, let's go for a French author.
French, I like Romain Rolland very much, and
Romain Rolland.
Romain Rolland, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, there's a lot.
Very musical writer.
Yeah, I think he's a bit forgotten nowadays. He has really nice books.
Well, not in Poland. I think he's still quite
Oh
popular
yeah,
here, but in
because
translation, of
I
course.
told to a lot of people and they don't know him, but he's great.
Well, probably depends on your generation. So, what
Yeah.
are you reading right now? Another question.
Right now, I'm not reading anything. I cannot have any book yet. Next time I travel, I have to bring a book. I didn't know it was going to last like 2 months.
And there was a question about how you use your legs when playing the piano. So it's about the pedals, I guess. Can you tell us about the legs?
Wait, the legs. What do I do with the legs?
I don't know.
I think it's just natural, following the music. I remember, I think when if the people were in the hall when I played, I think I made some noise with my feet and on the pedal sometimes, like, and I tried to pay attention because maybe I was too in the mood, of dancing or whatever. And sometimes it's a bit irritating for listeners. But it's okay. On the YouTube, you don't hear that.
And what kind of perfume do you use?
Perfume? I
Mm.
don't use perfume. I smell good. It's okay.
Well, that's good that you know it. That's important. Okay, what kind of academic career would you pursue? What kind of subject, if you had now an academic career for you?
I will. You mean what kind I will have in the future?
Now, what would you like to do academically if you had a choice to do that?
I think I wouldn't go to school, so it will
So no.
not happen.
All right, right,
I
right.
will
So
probably learn something myself. Some art, some like handmade or manual stuff, whatever.
handmade. So you mean you would be like an artisan who makes beautiful things with clay?
Maybe, or maybe like a cook or like a chief, or or I will prefer to do some, let's say, something that is not limited. Also like could be like sport athletes. I don't know, these kind of things, but probably not going to school actually to learn.
And since you're in Korea, the question we have is, do you like K-pop, the Korean popular music, super popular music?
Sometimes I don't hate. It's nice to have a other genre of music.
Mm.
I think
And
as a classical musician, uh, listening too much of these kind of things, sometimes can destroy your taste. I will say the truth. But I'm
mm,
open to any kind of music. It's just like I will not. I'm not listening that constantly.
mm. Well, in the interview for the Korean Times, you said that you will finally have a big party when back home in Canada. So when you have your post competition party, what kind of music will you have there?
What kind of music?
Yeah,
Definitely Chopin. Yeah.
of course, the E minor, I guess. And do you have a favorite ballet?
Ballet? Good question. Hmm. Well, it's almost Christmas, so it's always nice to see Nutcracker. It's like a
Okay.
tradition, so it's fun.
And what is your favorite Canadian food? Well, that's a tricky
Canadian
one.
food, there's not a lot. I think the only one we can say is called poutine. It's kind of mix of French fries and cheese, and this potato sauce and smoked meat, whatever. You can put whatever you want, but it's just a bunch of very, very heavy, uh, meal. So once in a while, it's good.
And who's your favorite entertainer, comedian?
Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin.
So he can be in every field.
Well, even as a composer, he wrote music, which was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I wouldn't say he's the best composer, of course. But
No, of course.
as an actor, as an entertainer, even as sometimes I like his philosophy as well. He has a very good view on life. Just bringing everything positive, all the optimistic part of life. Even though in his movies, there's a lot of negative and painful things. So, but
Mm.
he was trying to bring out the best of it.
Mm. Do you like Harry Potter? Another question.
Harry Potter, I wouldn't say I really like, but it's like everybody has watched it, so it's so famous. But I like this chess scene.
With the big figures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I also sometimes I play Blitz, Blitz chess. So I saw Hugh was there, we have to challenge him one day. because he's like a semi-professional chess player.
Okay. So another competition for you and Hugh in chess.
But I'm not good. He will probably beat me in 10 moves. So yeah.
Hmm. What is the ideal hand shape for a pianist? Oh, that's a tricky one.
Hand shape?
Yeah.
You know, this doesn't exist. I know this famous female pianist called Alicia de la Roca, and she cannot even reach octaves, you know? And she's playing all these pieces. I don't know how, but it just worked out.
Okay, we had a question about your parents. So you said your father is a painter. So what does your mother do?
She's how do you say this? She has a boutique of vintage, you know, vintage things.
All right.
So
So
just yeah.
and in which city would you like to live now? Would you consider
That's a
moving
hard
to Europe?
question. Maybe because it's of course more convenient for the career, you know, after Chopin, mainly, and everything is happening in Europe. But I mean, I don't have time to think about this now. Still have to. Maybe when I go home, I can, you know, reflect a bit about that. Still, it's a big move, so it's okay that it's not in a hurry yet.
Mm. And we had a question about Maestro Andrei Borejko, who conducted the final stage of the competition. Can you tell us about the kind of exchange you had with him during the competition and the concerts?
He was extremely supportive, and I was amazed because he has a different score for every finalist, you know, because there's like 9 times of the E minor in the finals. So I was actually worried how they're gonna remember my ideas. But when he told me he has like 9 different scores, I was like, you know,
Mm.
this is very clever and very huge responsibility he's doing. So I think for the 45 minutes of rehearsal, I think this is the best we came out with, and that was really amazing.
Yeah, so he just took notes for your interpretation in a separate publication, in a separate score done for the
Yeah, he
others.
has one for every version.
Mm. And what concerto are you going to do next? I suspect, oh, you said somewhere Rachmaninoff is on your mind.
Rachmaninoff Rhapsody, yes, Paganini Rhapsody, and also maybe, of course, the F minor comes naturally, you know, after E minor. What else can we do? And actually, maybe also some the Don Giovanni variation, but with orchestra. That could be very interesting as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, and Ravel G major, also Rachmaninoff second concerto. There's a lot going on.
So actually, maybe because we should be concluding slowly, I
Yes.
think that is a question I had for you for a very long time, which is why did you choose the E minor rather than the F minor? Because you play both of them, right?
Yeah, I personally prefer the F minor actually musically. Um, but I somehow felt the E minor just fits better my personality. It's more dynamic, you know, and more energetic in general. F minor is more, how do you say, it's very beautiful, but it's more, I think, more inside a bit, you know. And I think I felt not so mature yet to actually play it in a convincing way.
Okay, but there is a legend around the competition that you don't win the competition with the F minor, and actually some people choose the E minor just in case, because there is a superstition that if you choose the F minor, it can land you on the second place, but not the gold medal. So, did you know that?
I actually didn't think about that because my teacher wanted with the F minor, and I think he was probably the only one, if I'm not wrong. But
Yes.
so I have a very, you know, clear model in front of me. So that was not my. But of course, when I was choosing concerto, I was not even thinking about winning. Um, I actually didn't think so much because I was just concentrating on my solo because I was not sure if it was even able to pass in the finals, you know. So a lot of people concentrate so much on the concerto and they didn't even pass the first round or second round, which also happened to me before in some other competitions, you know. So actually this time I was just focusing on the solo rounds and the concerto was just like you know like this.
I think that was the best kind of brief description of the concerto I've heard in years. So congratulations.
No,
Well,
but to be honest, it doesn't make a difference because there's only two, and it's so easy to compare. You know, everybody knows them so well. Unlike other competition, you can choose from 20 or 30 concertos, so it was not a problem for me.
right. Well, Bruce, very good to see you in good shape and good humor. I'm looking forward to see you back in Warsaw for Chopin's birthday, which will be March the 1st. And thank you very much for making time out there in Korea for everyone here. I'm sure everyone was thrilled to see you and talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. All the best wishes.